Good evening. I'm Batman. And welcome to today's show. Welcome back to the Four Letter Nerd. It is your boy, Mayhem Mike. I've got some good news and I got some bad news. What do you want to hear first? The bad news, I'm so glad you asked. The bad news is there's no more good news. The good news, however, is we have officially migrated and now known from Kill the Sun Comics to HeiroGeekics. Woo! So the Four Letter Nerd is being produced and edited by and loved and shared by HeiroGeekics. It's been an amazing transition. Big shout out to the people in the big wigs behind the scenes. Obviously, the adult show is still going to keep coming. Today, we got a show for you. We're going to talk about DC's 5 best series and their 3 best movies. That's right, Detective Comics is going to the scope. Joining with me, of course, is my friend. You know him as the Mr. City of Gold himself.
I'm gonna do it every time because I don't care. Whatever, everybody. It's Ross Sun God.
Rasan God himself. How are we feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling good. Actually, I got some things going on behind the scenes, as you can see, with things that are behind things, and I got things that don't show up on the things no more. And yeah, I got this.
Apparently, he has a Disney sponsorship, people. Star Wars in particular. Go ahead, sir. Joining with me as well, you know him as the voice of all technical means, the man with the other green headphones, the light, the mystery, the super without the super, Mr. Ness himself.
Oh, how you doing? How you doing, guys? It's a long time no see. I was chatting with my friend. No, I'm good. I got to be on the show. Goodbye. Goodbye. Close the door. How you guys doing, man? You guys doing good?
Oh my
Good,
goodness.
sir. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm hungry. Like I want to eat a dog, but no, I'm not because that's horrible. More like a cow. I think a cow, but I can't have a cow. So chicken. Let's go chicken.
I mean, you can eat whatever you want, sir. You will be judged, but yeah, you can eat whatever you want.
I guess it's just the expression of just how hungry you are. Just
Okay, so we are waiting for Kat to join us. Kat, if you're there, we love you. Kisses, take your time. Once again, people, this is now the Fuller Nerd brought to you by HeiroGeekics Unlimited. We'll start putting all the details at the end and in the description below so that way you can find all things geeky with us and all that great stuff. And I kind of want to start it off with my boy, Mr. Ra Sun God. I hear that he's got some great picks. Ra?
I do. And see, I bucked the trend that we all followed because I knew we were all going to follow that trend. So there's nary an animated video, animated movie, animated TV series in my picks. I went with straight live action because that's what I chose to do. I do love the DC's animated stuff because let's face it, it is better than most of their live action stuff. So I wanted to focus on the things that don't have as much light as I think they should have. So I just went with all live action.
Okay. We kind of were kind of back and forth about it because, like Reggie and like everybody else has said behind scenes, DC's had a better animated streak, movie and animated wise, but we wanted to keep it as much as live as possible. Ra, tell us what you got. Show us what you got. Let's get to it. Ba-dum-ba.
All right, are we ready? I
Yeah,
think we're ready.
I think
So,
we're ready.
number one movie,
Number one movie.
DC, all time.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh.
the Batman, the quintessential Batman.
Number
Like,
one though.
yeah, yes, for me, yes, this is number one. I don't care what you say. For me, this is number one.
You
I
did
I
love
like
like
the
it.
Devil in a
cheese.
Pale Moonlight. I mean,
I know
Oh
exactly,
yeah.
sir. So
Oh
this
yeah.
set the trend for
uh-huh.
comic book movies. This right here, they're like, "Ooh, Batman did good. We need some of that Batman money." And dude, granted, Tim Burton may have his issues, but this man can
Does
direct
he?
dark movies.
Yes.
Yes, yes, he
Yes.
does.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
think the best thing that came out of this movie was Catwoman. Honestly.
Out of the yes.
Wrong movie, sir.
Wrong. It's the next one, of course, but in the series, yeah.
First of all, this inspired the second one. So there you go. Ha. That's my
Ha.
point. Ha.
Yeah. Ha. Ha. Yes. You know what? Stop getting ahead of my list. This is my list. Back up. We need you back up, sir. Sir, back him up. All right, I won't do that again. I know I'm offending some people. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Reggie.
So anyway, I got a surprise though. Guess what my surprise is? It's Cat! Yay!
Welcome.
So Cat's here now. Hi, Cat. We did a whole bunch of things. They're judging me because I chose the OG Batman as the number one film for DC for myself.
It's really just me, but okay.
Yeah, it's just him. But no, this movie was excellent. It was written great. It was edited. The acting, like, dude, until Mark Hamill did animated Joker, there was no better. Like, there was no better Joker. Like, yeah, Cesar Romero, that was an awesome Joker, but this Joker, Nicholson, the way he did it, it was just it was like, ooh, yeah, that's Joker right there. Yeah, okay. I'm like, I like this.
Okay,
and so this is my number one. This is my first comic book movie that I liked. Granted, yes, Superman was out. Those were campy and cartoony. It was but this one, I saw this in the movie theater and I was like, yes, this is me. I like this. So yes, this is my number one.
Number one. What's your number two?
All right, for number two, you ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Hey, look at that!
There it is.
As I said,
that's the one.
Exactly, dude. This one just took it and kicked it up a whole, not one notch. It kicked it up more notches than you know what to do with. So this one, it was just crazy. It's like, yeah, cool. It's Batman. Oh, he's got two villains, but one's not really a villain, but they are a villain. And it was just that whole what to do with all the people that you have here that are visible, that are in this movie. Thankfully, they didn't try to cram too many people into the movie because that would have been bad. So,
well, it was this one.
This way.
I would say this one had that same impact with Batman Begins when when his friggin' no, not Batman Begins. I'm sorry, Joker. Second one, other Batman. He got blown up. RPG over the car into the wall, and then popped out.
Yeah,
had the same effect in that one scene when his car was all jacked up and he had to get squeezed through those buttons.
Yes, and he popped the entire sides off. And I know, dude. And dude, this is the Batmobile in this one is the quintessential Batmobile. Yes, the Tumbler is dope. Hey, what you got?
Hey.
What? All right, come on, hater.
You know what? Go through your list and I'll comment after. but I will say this: Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns is still to this day the best Catwoman.
Number one.
Is the best. Number one.
Yes, I will.
And if I may be so bold, Danny DeVito's Penguin, I still think is top tier. What's his face from
Colin? Dude, his is right behind it.
And you know what? I think because Colin, and I don't know if they're bringing him in the sequel, he may rise to just as good, if not maybe surpass Danny DeVito's Penguin, because he'll do the transition, into the human disfigurement and such. So, excuse me, we'll see what happens. But go ahead.
Word. All right. So my next pick is going to throw you all for a loop. Actually, it ties into the show 2 shows ago about my guilty pleasures and how I like, the romance stories. It literally ties into that because number 3 is Stardust. I read this book and I fell in love with this book.
Love it.
It helps that it's Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman. Flat out. Period. I love all his books. I've read just about all of them.
Forgot that this would have counted.
Oh no, but yes, ma'am. It does.
I love this movie.
Can you give us a brief synopsis of this movie without spoiling anything, but just kind of because I've never seen.
I will.
You would love it.
I will give you the bad rundown. Man wants woman.
Okay.
Man wishes upon shooting star to get woman.
Mm-hmm.
Woman wants shooting star. Shooting star is another woman. Where does the romance go? With first woman or woman that is a star?
It's a love affair triangle. Okay. Yeah. All right. This sounds amazing. All right.
There's action and adventure and Michelle Pfeiffer looking fine as
Pfeiffer's.
Yes. And then oh crap. Bobby De Niro. Dude, Bobby De Niro's role. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Bobby De Niro's role.
Yep. Not to mention that's Daredevil right there. So you already know.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
that is the. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that.
That's
Oh.
Daredevil right there.
Yes, he
It's
is.
Daredevil. Oh my
Totally
God, that
was.
is true.
That's a great pick, Reggie. I totally forgot this would have counted. I'm pissed.
Not gonna lie, I did just go up and look up a list of DC movies and TV shows and just pick the ones that I liked from those shows.
I
You know
kind of
why?
expected everybody to, but all right.
I was like, you know what? I'm like, what movies on this list speak to me?
You
And
know,
guess
I
what?
knew what I wanted to pick, but I should have done that anyway, just to make sure.
You should have, because I did. I looked at it. I'm like, wait, this is a what? I'm like, oh, DC Vertigo is on the list. So yes,
Okay.
Well
these are
done,
my
well
picks.
done.
Danny DeVito's taking
I
a long
love these
time, too.
movies. I watch these movies. If you put them in front of me, I will watch them forever. I can't recite them like I can Aladdin because, well, that's Aladdin.
Oh, that's
So,
Aladdin. Yeah.
You
I
know
will watch
Aladdin?
all three of these
That
movies.
thing is
religiously.
on loop.
Next one, let's go.
That's it, sir. That's my three movies.
It was 5 movies and 3
Oh,
shows.
No. It was 3 movies and 5 shows.
No, 5 and 3.
No, that's why I reposted it in the chat.
Yeah.
Make sure. I'm like, hey, wait, somebody sent me too many movies and someone sent me too few shows.
Because
Already?
last time it was 5 movies and 3 shows.
No.
No, it wasn't.
That's
Are
also
we sure?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so let me judge your movies harshly. I can't speak of Stardust because I personally haven't seen it, so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that it belongs in the top 3. Batman, though, the first Batman is iconic. I definitely give it. It's timeless. But does it deserve to be number 1? Especially
For
since
me,
it got great
this is my opinion.
No.
My opinion.
And this is my opinion as a judge. I think that Batman deserves to be on a number 2 list. And you know what? That's fine. You put it number 1. At least you still recognize his top 3. This is definitely. You made a title. You made a title confidence. Okay, fair enough. Batman Returns is also a classic. So those are definitely, if not your top 1 and 2, definitely top 3, if not top 5 movies that DC has produced to this day that I definitely have to give it to you. As far as the ordering, I think I got better, but it's not my turn. Ness.
Yes, sir.
Come on, hit me with it.
Okay, so for my number 1, I want to say my first DC came along was Superman. Christopher Reeve Superman came along in my life that made a huge impact growing up, and I just figured not just the entire series, just bringing just the Reeves and especially number 1. It was just a turning point, an inspiration. I mean, Superman flying about, and then just the way they had special effects back in the day, the way they produced the films back in the day. And I don't know, man, I get emotional listening to even the theme song. Even I watched the trailer just to get all choked up. I don't know if you watched the trailer with the one Marlon Brando. Like, I can't remember the whole saying, but he says a thing. And then it's just like, oh, damn. But it's a good one. I grew up with the Superman. I feel personally, for me, it was number 1.
Okay.
So, that was my hit.
Okay.
Number 2.
El numero dos.
Flashpoint Paradox. If anybody hasn't seen this, see it.
Oh dear God, do you need to watch it? Yes.
Wow. This was a huge impact as far as animated story and just direction of what they were doing with this. I don't know if anybody agrees, but it was cool and it was dark and it was just it was almost like the turning point for DC in their animation that I feel that it was like, dude, they're getting like R-rated, they're getting punchy, they're getting hard, they're getting serious. Like, okay. And I can't say anything else on it. It's just
you got to watch it.
You got to watch it. It's just a lot more in there. That's my number 2. It was really good.
Okay. Number 3.
My number 3. Watchmen.
Okay.
Oh man. Live action Watchmen. For the first time watching this, I watched it in IMAX. It was a slow beginning for me. But as it started writing with the dramatic and the music and the tone, and as you watch more, it's like, oh dear, that's a super. He did. Where does head go? And then Mr. Manhattan, Dr. Manhattan, Manhattan. He was cool. You have to see this movie if you haven't seen it. I want to say so much. So as you can tell, all the thoughts and ideas start coming through my head, and only a few of them start bleeding out. But eventually, I get to the point that it's a really good movie. So I'm just saying. But those are my picks.
Okay. So definitely Watchmen, I think, is a classic in its own right. Hardcore standpoint, hardcore fans. You're definitely right. It starts off slow, but it's a build. It's a lovely slow build.
Mm-hmm.
The payoff is amazing. I went into the theater not knowing what was happening, just knowing I wanted to see
Exactly
it.
that.
And mind you, I had like actual people who were fans who were like, nerd. And I was like, oh, I thought we were the same. Shout out to the people, because that man was out here slinging his junk on big screen, and
dude,
there was no filter for it. And I was just like, what? And I think that was during the scene he was supposed to be pleasuring his wife at the time, and there was multiples of him, and he wasn't.
That was the first time. Yeah,
that was multiple times. It was a little weird.
A little bit.
But Flashpoint, I think we can all say that it's what we're looking for, and we're hoping that the live edition of this is so much better, because we need a reboot. We need a reboot. And Christopher Reeves, it's hard to fight anybody with the Superman and Christopher Reeves.
It really is. Yeah, he set the standard of like what a Superman thing.
I would argue that 1 and 2 are probably the best out of everything.
Yes.
But it's impact. It goes back to like Reggie's Batman.
Right.
Batman and Batman Returns. Obviously, Christopher Reeves no longer being able to act due to his horrible accident. And him living his life vicariously, and even making shows on future projects that have new superheroes, like Smallville. Yeah, Smallville, when he was kind of like a Superman in a sense. It was amazing, but it's hard. I don't know if I agree with your list, but it's hard for me to shoot it down.
Personal preference. My number 1's 2 and 3. So sorry.
Whatever. Sid, did by any chance you want to go over your movies before I throw myself into the Lazarus pit?
Sure. Oh, why does it got to be the Lazarus pit? So you just gonna go in there and just resurrect out of it, huh?
I wanna start off by saying I apologize. My brain clearly has some form of dyslexia going on, because I did the same thing last week where I picked 5 of the wrong thing and 3 I did 5 and 3. I got them switched, but I unswitched them and sent them to Reggie. So I'm not sure if the graphics are up to date, and if that's the case, that's completely on me. I apologize, everyone. But I do know which order I want to do the films.
Yep.
The films are in order. Well, so actually, they're in the old order.
So first place, second place, third place?
Yes, the original order that you requested them, they are in that order.
Ooh, it's a build-up.
It is a build-up.
So which one do I do first?
You're gonna do your number 1 movie first. Well, actually, you can. Yeah, your number 1. Yeah, it's already queued up to number 1.
Okay, then that's fine. This should come as no surprise. My number 1 favorite movie of DC of all time would be Wonder Woman. Wait, where are you going? No, that's a TV show.
Well, he said it was an order, wasn't? I mean, I think is that the order?
There it is.
There it is.
I got this. I'm like, hold up, things moved. Things have moved.
Okay, that's completely my fault. I apologize. But now I think my whole list has been blown up. I have been waiting since 1985 when I discovered Wonder Woman. More importantly, George Perez's Moment of Silence. Rest in peace, good sir. Crisis and post-crisis run of Wonder Woman. Yes, I watched the Wonder Woman TV shows with Linda Carter. She's an amazing actress, but that wasn't my Wonder Woman. Even back then, she wasn't what she was in the comic books. I think they did the best that they could do in the time frame that they had, and detract nothing away from Linda Carter, but it wasn't the Wonder Woman that I wanted to see. I wanted to see the powerful woman of action that composed herself with like a grace and an intelligence and a naivete that you see her coming into man's world and just with great compassion and sincerity and beauty and not beauty in the sense of outward looks, but just overall. And I got it here. Yeah. I sat in the theater. I watched it 5 times in the theater. I would have watched it more, but life got in the way of that. But it was on my 3rd watch that I finally got to watch it by myself. The first time I went with my daughter, and that was an amazing experience because I got to see her 7-year-old eyes watching what my 7-year-old eyes would have loved to have seen at that age.
Mhm.
I even let her wear my tiara and my cups.
Oh,
So, yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
The
we did.
fact
We
that you
both
have
wore
those.
Wonder Woman stuff. It was really beautiful
Nice.
moment. Second time I went with one of my family with one of my cousins, and then the third time I went by myself. I sat there and I literally cried from beginning to end. But it was like just tears of like joy. No Man's Land, the charge at the beach, that
Mhm.
second fight scene before we get to the kind of crazy super effects that were not needed with Ares. Um, she was the Wonder
Yeah.
Woman. She was the Wonder Woman that I wanted since I
Yeah.
was a kid. And I'm so glad that I got to see this in my lifetime. No matter what happens before, what happens after this, I have that, and it was something that I never thought that I was going to have, and that is just you. Nothing you say will ever take how much I love this movie.
They
Okay.
got this right.
They really
Like,
did. Even the
right.
soundtrack, I had it on
Oh,
loop.
dude.
The ringtone for my messages was like exactly. When she did the cuff, the concussion. I mean,
Cue my hater
yeah.
card. I didn't appreciate the graphics, and then the beach
I don't
scene
care. Next,
was like a Power Ranger fight. Okay.
I got up at 3 a.m. to watch this before I went to work that day because I wanted it to be the very first thing I saw. And let
Oh,
me tell
wow.
you, those 4 hours
Wow.
flew by. I'm not going to say I hated the weed in Justice League because there were some parts in it that
We did.
I didn't hate. But this was what he should have done the first time around. Can somebody mute Mike? And
Muted.
but this is what I wanted. This is something that's always set DC apart from Marvel in the sense that they take their threats very seriously.
Mhm.
And so there's always this underlying sense of like, is this really going to work out? Even though innocent, you know that it is, but it keeps you more on the edge of your seat. They're not cracking jokes. They're not putting themselves in ridiculous situations. And I don't mean that as a hate comment towards Marvel because I really enjoy Marvel movies as well. They're just
So
a different thing.
there shouldn't be a dance off for a nigh cosmic powerful stone. Is that what you're trying to get at?
No.
I see what you said.
And like a guy falling on top of a girl's boobs, like how many times are you going to do that? It's not funny anymore. Let's do better by these people.
They did cut that scene out, which
They did. I very much appreciated.
Yes.
So, and I got to see more of Diana in this one in a sense where it made sense. She should be the one bringing knowledge because she was around the first time. So
Right.
I really enjoyed the changes that they made. I wish that Zach could have controlled himself in the beginning and made these movies to start. This was a do-over that not everybody gets to have.
Yeah.
I'm done with Zack Snyder after this, not like personally, but I mean like we don't need to see any more of his vision for this because he doesn't have a clear enough vision to do it right the first time, and we can't just keep on giving him do-overs.
100%.
But this movie on its own, the 4 hours, I loved every second of it in color and in black and white. Next.
Yeah.
Man of Steel.
Yeah, that we know why you picked it. It's okay.
excitement.
It's okay. We know why you picked it. It's
The
okay.
excitement when this movie came out because we thought that this was going to be the beginning of something truly magical, and we did get some magical moments, and we also got some.
yeah.
But this movie, that S meaning hope, that's what I had after I watched this movie because I actually enjoyed it, and even the way that they explained how he on this planet, how it's supercharged him, but when they had him on the ship and it was under his atmosphere, and how it just made him a normal man, and you realize how much he relies on the fact that the sun super. He left. He's so mad he's gone.
No, he's not mad. He's having technical issues.
And that fight with Feora, and just she was such a badass. I don't know anybody who watched that movie and didn't walk away thinking that she was a freaking badass. And then there was a hint that we had Sir John Jones in that film, which turned out to be right, but we just got that little nudge of a hint. Is like, oh, is that John Jones? Yes, it is, but he's not going to reveal himself for another fucking 10 years. That's okay though. I ain't mad at it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I wish that they had been able to keep the momentum from this point, but this I thought was where it all began, and I'm not mad about it. So that's why I put that as my number 3.
It is a good beginning. Granted, I didn't watch all of it. I don't know what it is. It's just the DC movies that are the more recent ones. It's just like, do I want to watch it? No, not really. Because
They're
sadly,
heavy.
they are. Actually,
They're
well,
heavy.
no.
Their
The
tones
last
were
DC
pretty heavy.
movie I watched in theater was Return of Superman. And man, let me tell you how disappointed I was that the villain of that movie was a rock.
Yeah, that was a rock. Yeah,
I certainly do not blame you for that. But that's why, like, I think so many of us were so excited when this movie came out because they changed the things that were kind of ridiculous about them. I really like the S for Hope. Of course, there are no perfect films. There are near perfect films, but there are no perfect films. But for a Superman film, I think that this was the strongest Superman film that they've put out in modern times, and that on its own, as a standalone, will always stand the test of time. Not to mention, it was the first time I had a Lois Lane that I did not hate on sight.
Wait. So you did not like Adventures of Superman, Lois Lane? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct. Lois Lane is annoying as.
Yeah.
Damn, she just say Miss Carey
can't.
was.
I
annoying.
just cannot. I actually do ship Superman and Wonder Woman, but that's not why I don't like Lois Lane. I just don't like Lois Lane in general. She's annoying and she's constantly in trouble because she doesn't know how to mind her damn business.
Right.
I mean,
she's
not wrong.
Oh
wait.
She knows she's human and she knows she can't do anything about it, but she's 100% one of those people that are like, oh, what's that noise? Let me investigate with no weapons and no backup and no plan.
She does have a plan. She's going to yell loudly and he's going to hear her.
Yep.
She doesn't even have to. He knows her heartbeat.
Yep. Megan, you forgot your jacket. Just Megan.
Anyway.
Never mind.
But yes, I get it. But yes, that to me is my top 3. So thank you. And let's move along before Mayhem has an opinion.
I don't think we're allowed to do that.
Space. You were so mad you walked away. You saw that? You were like,
Peace.
You know, it's crazy. I think we need like we're having technical issues button, so you can put that on and they can share for me. I actually thought your list was very nice. I don't agree with some of it, but whatever.
There he goes. Okay.
But definitely. I mean, Wonder Woman had a lot of great things, and not for nothing, it beat Captain Marvel by a landslide. And I was talking big smack. Yeah. I was talking big smack about how Captain Marvel was gonna like demolish it.
I was hoping for Captain Marvel to do better. I wanted Captain Marvel to be good. I was really disappointed.
Yeah,
and how they treated that film. I would not have been mad if Captain Marvel ended up being a fantastic movie that outperformed Wonder Woman in the box office, because there's room at the table for everyone.
Yeah, I wanted them to kind of be.
But I was really disappointed that Captain Marvel came out the way that it did.
I wanted them to be on the both same level, so that way I could be like, "Oh, it's only going to get better from this,"
Yeah, but I agree.
It didn't really turn out that way. Great choice. I think we all love Zack Snyder cut for the most part. He had a chance to redo everything. The extended Wonder Woman scene was amazing, and it made me look at her totally different.
Isn't she, babe? I love her.
One of my favorite scenes from that movie, I see. One of my favorite scenes actually from that movie, from the Zack Snyder cut, was when the Amazons were trying to close the gate. And first of all, they were built. Tight. They were built like
when they were swinging those freaking hammers.
Yes. It was legit
amazing. It was amazing.
And then you have Queen Hippolytoia watching like the temple going down to the portal, and like you kind of feel the dread and also sorrow, because she lost her sisters, only for this guy to emerge. And you're like, what is?
That it was all for naught.
Right.
But when she said, Amazon, show them your fear, and they all yelled, "We have no fear," I was like, yes.
It's amazing.
Great sequence.
I actually like Man of Steel, only because they did one thing. They shot him in the eye, and I've been saying this forever. If there's a guy who's vulnerable, shoot him in the eye, see what the eye or the mouth, and they didn't do anything. I was like, well, you tried,
That was a great scene, though.
Who was the Lex Luthor? Was it Kevin Spacey? Was it?
No,
Who was it?
shoot, the dude that was in Zombieland, scrawny dude.
So he was.
Oh yes, Jesse.
Jesse Eisenberg.
He
Mhm.
was Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in there for, I think,
He wasn't really part of it though.
Batman versus Superman. He was there, and
The villain
Snyder.
was Zod.
Mm-hmm.
Was this when
This
he,
was
like,
with Zod and Feora when they were trying to terraform the planet.
and then like a whole rock made of kryptonite in a sense at the end?
Nah, that was
it?
Return
No.
of Superman.
Return of Superman? Okay, so I'm on
Yeah.
something else. That Lex Luthor was amazing. So
Kevin
then
Spacey.
Kevin
Yeah.
Spacey.
It was
Yeah,
amazing.
he did great. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah,
really talk
I got nothing to say about that.
yeah, so I'm on them. All right, let me move on, and you guys can castrate me for mine. I have my top 3. I would like to do, since I got 6, I would like to do my first one, which was the Batman, The Dark Knight. Listen, I only have to say one thing. Where Tim Burton failed, this succeeded.
I'm sorry. Where exactly did Tim Burton fail? Tell me that part.
The Joker, I mean, and it's partial part to like what Batman was kind of wrote as at the time, or written at the time. Batman was slightly edgy, but also kind of like, comedic or whatever. I mean, Joker was kind of dark too, but mostly comedic. This funny was not the ha ha ha, but this was like ha, like what am I really laughing? Heath Ledger's performance was so outstanding that, once again, as a person who went and saw this movie, I saw Batman Begins. Like, this was the best movie, and I forgot this movie was a Batman movie. I thought this was a Joker movie. He improv like 2 of the greatest scenes that people generally tend to like. He stole the show. He had just as much lines, if not material, as Michael. What's his name?
Michael Caine.
Christian Bale. Sorry.
Oh, Christian Bale.
I'm saying Michael. Like he killed it, and a lot of people compare him to Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger's Joker to Jack Nicholson's Joker, and I'm like, he outdid it. You could say he learned from it, but he did it in such a way that was amazing. I think this is by far the best DC movie ever created, ever. It shook the world by storm. Great writing, great cast, great acting, just everything all together. Obviously, apples and oranges for those who apply to, but I think this was the best one. Did anybody want to say anything real quickly to castrate me? Go ahead.
I mean, castrate, because we're nice about this.
I think we're going to be.
This is a good movie.
All I was going to say for Heath, he had to take some notes and even speak to, as far as I remember, if I remember reading, that he had to talk to Jack to see where his head mind space was, and how to approach this. And even Jack told him, you need to be careful with this character because it'll take you to a really dark place. So you got to watch it. Like it was that intense, that to get that performance. Like, yeah, I remember that part hard.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Anybody else?
No.
It
is great. Oh, you're just gonna cut me off like that? Word.
Dang.
Word.
Right.
Got you. Oh, is that Rob? No. It is a solid pick. It can be a number 1. It can hold a top spot.
Yes.
But
without the other Batman, can't be this Batman, right?
You can't be talking down on Batman. It's like, bruh, get the gravel out your mouth. That is my only complaint with Christian Bale. He's got to be down here because he's Batman.
I mean,
they didn't really explain that so well, and he used the same voice in the Terminator movie. But we're gonna move past that and move on to the next movie. And that Terminator movie wasn't all that great. All right, so
somebody keeps telling me that we need
Red.
high quality pictures, and they keep sending me small pictures.
I remember that one.
Zoom in.
Stuttering.
So retired, extremely dangerous.
That's full screen right there.
I love it.
I mean,
I love it.
I will take it, right? What can I say about this except that this is a fun action movie? And I think why it's so high on my list is because it's not what I expected. And I stayed for this almost 2 hours, hour 50-something minutes. You got Bruce Willis, you got John Malkovich. Oh my God, you got Helen Mirren, you got Morgan Freeman, you even got Carl Urban. Just to say the least, and it's plenty more. And it was just like a really good crafted story. It wasn't off the top. It wasn't like complex, but it was really fun. So much so they made a second one, and I love the second one. I still think the first one's better, but it could
Of
be
course.
just the impact. Bruce Willis and he is like his action roles for like that time because remember he did Die Hard 4,
Nope.
whatever tagline that was.
Live free, die.
Die
No.
Hardest. Yeah, but no,
Uh,
Live Free. No, that
is it
You
die?
know what? You know what? It's the
Something.
one. It's the one they stopped at before he had to do Get Rich or Die Trying. You know what I'm saying? Number 5, Die Hard. So I thought it was really dope. I think this is really for live adaptation. This is probably the best, second best. Thank you very much. See, Marcus understands me. I appreciate you, Marcus. I want to move on to the third one because I know the third one is gonna take you all by surprise, and
and
you're gonna
actually
be like, "What?"
before we do
Oh,
that, I do believe we lost Miss Cat. She's been frozen at the same screen for
she's
some
moving
time.
for me.
Oh,
Oh,
hey, no,
oh,
she's
she is
moving.
moving.
I'm
Oh,
here.
She's just really good.
Oh wow, you were sitting so still as though you became invisible.
Amazing.
I was
Amazing.
practicing my Guardian of the Galaxy cosplay. I'm just
Oh, you do. You will make a great Drax.
thank
I
you.
apologize. Thank
Thank
you. Though.
you. Thank you. I'll get back to that now.
Well done.
I have nothing to say. Red is a great movie.
Yeah.
Then, of course, V for Vendetta. Remember. When this movie came out, I don't even remember when. I just know that Halloween,
November 5th.
Yes.
everybody came out as V. And you know what? It was an amazing movie. The crazy thing is the political movie. So of
Yeah.
course, sometimes people feel a certain way about politics in a movie, especially when it's so hard hitting. But this hit it on the nail. Great action, great analogies, just great script overall. I didn't really care to see what he looked like underneath, even though we
No.
did kind of get a
Mhm.
glimpse of that. Natalie Portman, you know what? I'm gonna give it to her because I really feel like although she did a really good job acting,
Hugo
Hugo
Weaving.
Weaving.
Yeah, Hugo
Mhm.
Weaving.
took the spotlight from her.
I
Like
mean,
she had no help. She had no
hello,
hope.
Mr. Anderson.
It was amazing. And once again, it's a DC film. Um, it's a step away technically from the traditional capes, and boots in a sense. But like, even though there is a kind of anti-hero or a vigilante, if you will, this was just amazing, well crafted. And honestly, I'm thinking about it now. It deserves to be number 2, but I put it as number 3 only because I really felt Red kind of edged it slightly. But it's interchangeable for either. And that's my list for best DC movies live adaptation. Do you have my honorary mention?
Yes, the
Give me
honorary mentions are up there. But
really
before
quickly.
that,
Okay. Okay.
him. Wow. Like Red was a great movie and all. I didn't know it was a comic book movie, but then when I found out it was a comic book movie, it didn't really change my opinion of it. It was still an all right action movie for what it was. Like, granted, it was giving the older people a shot at, getting the action in there, but a top three? A top three?
Yes.
No, sir.
Listen, Bruce Willis
No,
doesn't
sir.
really amaze me anymore. Bruce Willis, Bruce Willis is kind of like the icy truck when it comes by the park the third time within the last 5 hours. It's like, all right, what else?
Wait, bro, I already had some. I'm good.
But I think he did a really good job because he had a really good supporting cast, who I think honestly outshowed him. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's
Well,
John
Helen
Malkovich.
Mirren for me was what made Red. Helen Mirren's character, period.
Amazing.
She is amazing in everything she is. Just like Hugo Weaving is amazing in everything he's in. I mean, he's freaking Elron. Like, yeah, he's going to steal the show in every scene that he's in.
This is
I
true.
think people quote him from The Matrix more than they do anyone else. Like,
I mean,
that
he had all the
iconic.
good lines.
Hello, Mr.
Iconic. I mean, so yeah, I have nothing to say about your picks. Your opinion is yours, and it can be wrong. It's fine.
Really quickly, I want to go over the honorary mentions before we go into the 5 top series. Number 4, obviously Joker. I've been saying it for a long time that if they manage to make a villain movie only, it's gonna start a trend. They kind of did it with Venom, even though he's an anti-hero, but Joker was a full-on villain movie, and it was still great. I'm looking for more villain because heroes need a villain, but villains don't need a hero.
This is true.
That's true.
So you can make a great movie. I've claimed that way before it came out. Anywho, let's go on to the next one. Now, I said Constantine City of Demons, but honestly, any Constantine movie so far by DC is amazing. John Constantine, we all know. Oh my God, the last scene where he commits. I don't know if I can say this on it without monetizing.
He commits permanent self-sleep.
Yes, before he commits self-sleep, and the actor who plays the devil came in. Just that scene alone was
He's
amazing.
no. He's like, no, you don't get to die. Come on, I'm taking this.
Not going to be that easy for you.
Right.
Mm-mm.
It was amazing, and and the movie itself was just amazing. But that's just added like the onto it. Now, City of Demons, I believe, is on HBO movies. You can watch it. It is amazing. I've never been interested in Constantine until I saw this movie. And there's Justice League Dark, which is out. There's some other movies that contain Constantine.
Justice League Dark has a great Constantine Zatanna mash. I don't want to use the word mashup, but team up there.
Right.
Yeah, I would highly recommend.
This explores a more personal character development as to why he is the way he is, and it is amazing. It is a little gory, so if you have kids or you don't like it yourself, be wary. But it is amazing. Peter Stormare was Lucifer and Constantine. Amazing. I think we're gonna go into the last one so we can move forward. And Batman Under the Red Hood. I think Joe DiMaggio was the Joker at the end. Oh my God. When he talked about the crow and getting a family picture, the crowbar and getting a family picture with him, Jason Todd, and Batman. Oh, not many people can do Joker, but Joe, you did it. You did it, Joe. You did it.
Good work, Joe.
Job, Joe.
We did it, Joe. And that's my top 3 and honorary picks. I totally did something different just for fun, but I think you guys would appreciate this.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
Your honorable mentions are quite honorable.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to the top 5 DC series. We're going to continue with the same order. Reg, tell me your DC series, and I'll try not to interrupt you and tell you how trash they are.
Ooh.
Top 5.
Ooh. The pain. The pain. Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm putting this up here. It's right here. Yeah. I see it on your face.
Didn't they have? You know what?
What? Did they have what?
It's iconic for what it led it up to, but it was a trash series, fam.
Holy horseradish, Batman.
Holy rusted sheet metal, Batman. Couldn't show no violence.
We have to give a shout out to what I think really made that show, which was the women, Batgirl, and our Catwomen, Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And there's another one in there from the film, but I can't remember her name. So apologies for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is because this is one of those things that it got me into comic books because I didn't know what comic books were back then. Like, granted, I did catch this on the reruns, but I was like, man, what is this? I'm like, oh, this is great. Because the cartoons I was watching, they didn't have the comic books right away when they first came out. The comic books for those all came out later. Mm-hmm. So this, I'm like watching this, and I'm like, oh, I've seen this in the bookstore. It's got the little comic book with it. Let me check out what this comic book is. So this show is why I read comic books. So, it's a gateway show. Yes, it's campy. Yes, it is so silly and stupid. But guess what? I still love it. I got a soft spot for it. Really? Yeah, I saw that. You just gonna stop.
I was letting you be great. I was like, all
right, I am done, sir. Your words. Here, hold on. Let me get your tab up. There you go. Go ahead.
No, I was letting you be great. Once again, it's iconic. I want to move on to the second one. Go ahead.
All right. Number 2 for me is this one right here. iZombie. Okay. I love this show. I love the premise. I love the setup. It's a great take on zombies because they're all sentient still. Because unless you don't eat human brains, you stay yourself. That's the premise of the show. How can you stay yourself while being a zombie, but without being a bad zombie? Answer: work in the morgue.
And let me tell you, some of the things that she did, because every time that she ate brains, she made some kind of recipe with it.
Yes.
Sometimes it was a smoothie. Sometimes it was in ramen. I'm like,
Dude, those
I don't want to know
recipes
what
were
that
bomb.
tastes.
I know, right? I'm like, bruh, Liv, what you got in that? Liv, what's that recipe? Hold
I
up.
want the iZombie cookbook.
I know,
Like,
right? Like, granted, I know it was all gummy brains and other things, but still, if I were to substitute that with meat,
right?
what would that taste like?
I wonder, like, if wonder if it was like some kind of tofu or something, but it looked delicious. I don't
It
know,
did.
And the fact that you get to like live in someone's psyche for a little while.
Yes,
Well,
as scary as that can be, it can also be awesome. Like the number one seller, an astronaut. I'm not going to tell you which astronaut, but yeah, the number one seller on the black market was an astronaut. So,
Right.
you know,
everybody got to go to space.
that's right.
Well thought. Well
Sir?
picked. Well picked.
Sir.
I just want to point out, yes, Mark, you definitely a cookie show for psychos. Just all I'll say is I remember.
Let us be great.
I think I remember watching the first 3 episodes, and they were pretty good. I didn't finish the series, but I know it was really good. I got nothing to say about it so far, except that's the power of TV. Because you know what? How many times have we watched like a steak or whatever on cartoons and be like, I really want to try that steak that Bugs Bunny had.
Yeah.
Like
I do have to
Cartoons like that,
say,
no anime.
the
Yes.
first, I want to say, like the first season, is completely different than the rest of the series as far as where they take zombiehood.
Yes.
Okay.
So whatever your conception was from those first couple of episodes,
It does not say
if
that.
it's not
Oh
if it's not
dude.
your thing, just wait it out a little bit. Or even
Blame.
just go to the second season and watch the recap of the first season to make sure that you know all the important characters, and then it becomes a different show. And it really was a great show. Great
Okay.
pick, Reggie.
All right.
Boom, number 3. Yes, everyone's look at you. You're like tired of it. Look at him. He is tired of it. But tell me, Mayhem, what is your desire?
Lucifer was fun. You know, it kind of fell into like one of those TV agenda like series where it's like Burn Notice, kind of like Blacklist, but Blacklist went on for like 12,000 seasons. It almost complete with Grey's Anatomy.
Still going.
Right. You know, it's like one of those action kind of like drama series where it's kind of like, it's like, all right, when are they going to end this? But Lucifer had some great moments. I was put on to Lucifer for a little bit. I have to finish it, but okay. I can see it.
Yeah. That's why it's on the list. Just
a hella strong supporting class.
Yes, and the way he plays Lucifer is just great. He's like, how am I going to do this? They're like, let's use a British accent. He's like, I am British. Oh, wait, let me do a posh British accent. That will be Lucifer. And it's just a great show. And I'm sorry, my favorite character is Ella. And that's all there is to it. She is so bundle of joy and confused and confusing. And yeah, I enjoy Ella.
I'm all about Mazikeen.
That's the wife's favorite. Hence the reason our puppy is named Maisie.
That's right. I forgot. Great minds.
Yay.
She didn't even realize it. She just picked the name Maisie. And I was sitting up there. I was like, Maisie. I was like, wait a minute. Mazikeen? I'm like, did she really do that without thinking? She did.
Shout out to her.
Well done. Just don't give your dog any knives.
Yep. No, she gets no knives. All right. And from here on out, it's going to throw you off for some loops. Because, hey, look, there's my other favorite TV show. Granted, I did enjoy the movies. I did enjoy the show a bit more. I did want it to get picked up by HBO so they could actually like delve into the dark of Constantine instead of the light gray dark of Constantine. But I enjoyed the series for what it was, and I actually have this poster somewhere from a Comic-Con. Colorado Springs Comic-Con, 2019. 2017?
Nice
One
show.
of those two. I grabbed it. It was in my swag bag. It's in there. But yeah, I enjoy the show. I've always liked Constantine. I read the comics before their TV shows or movies. That's why I went to go see the movie with Mr. Keanu Reeves. Because I'm like, yeah, let's see what they do. And I'm like, all right. They did the man justice in the movie. And then they're like, we got a TV show now. And I'm like, let's see what it's about. I'm like, all right. That's a nice little, light flavored Constantine. Can't get too dark on network TV, but that's nice. All right. So yeah, there's my number 4. Go ahead, sir.
Nothing. Nothing. It's pretty good. Okay, continue.
All right. So this one is childhood. So this one's gonna throw you all for a loop. because I watched the out of this show. Bam.
Oh snap!
Not the new one.
Snap.
Not the new one. The old school one. You know,
Classic.
his dad.
I remember this one.
Yeah. So
you mean not Flash Saviors of the Universe?
No, not that one. That's Gordon. That's Flash Gordon.
I know.
This is just the Flash. But yeah, dude, this show was so good to me as a kid. I'm sure it doesn't stand up to the test of time, but I don't care. I enjoyed it when I enjoyed it for what it was. Also, shout out Mark Hamill, one of the best, of the Rogues Gallery for, the Flash.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So far, I have no problem with your list. I mean, you hit a lot of old school. You threw me in for a loop with the Constantine one. I'm gonna give your list so far an 8 out of 10. I think you got potential growth. It didn't hit it the spot, but you know what? Like Chef Gordon Ramsay said, at least I'm not dying. So that's your next, please.
So, my picks. Yeah, I got my list here.
Are you ready,
so, yes, please. First one up. I picked Batman Beyond, at least for my number one, just because
Shway.
McGinnis, OG Bruce Wayne, and then the new coming villains. It was like my 2099 Spider-Man, but for like Batman.
Right.
So it was right there with me that I really enjoyed this one. Funny because I picked this one. I watched the first season, then some of the second. I might have seen the whole seasons. I don't remember, but I have to reflect because it's been a while. So I'm sure everybody's seen it. I mean, it's Batman Beyond.
It's amazing. Good. Okay.
It's awesome, man. That's for my number ones. Number two.
Hey,
again, Constantine.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it because it brought me in with the first Constantine. I didn't read the comics. I enjoyed the character when Keanu came in and I saw the movies. Like, oh, snap, that was tight. Freaking Keanu doing freaking Constantine. I love it. And his coat was supposed to be gray, beige. Nope, it's black. It's like, that's fine. That's cool. As long as they bring the character to life. That's what we need. And he did. This one kind of reeled me in because I was really curious of what they were going to take it with.
Right.
And it did. And it took me to some good places, and then it took me to kind of like okay places, and then it took me are they going to do more? What happened? It killed it. What was going on? And they canceled it, so it was like pretty sad. So aside from that, I enjoyed it. That was my notes. All right, next one up, Superman animated series. I was up there with it just because come on, it was cool. It actually had a few video games for it too, which was very difficult.
That video game was horrible.
It was very difficult to play. It was very difficult to play. I only bring it up because it is a difficult game to play.
We were so hyped for that game. Like we could fly.
It was like
Lois Lane. Fly through the rings. I'm sorry. What did you say, Lex Luthor? What?
I couldn't get him to do the thing, and then he was just not orienting to the flight
pattern.
My god! Yeah, it was a pain in the neck.
Sonic the Hedgehog bootleg.
With this one, yeah, man, it took me because of they started with the Batman animated series, and then they brought out Superman animated series, and then eventually later they got them together and just they said what's up with each other, and it was I don't know. I really enjoyed it growing up as a kid. I was waiting for this to come out, and even the Batman animated series. But that's my next pick. So it was a quick pick. It wasn't like a real, a choice of yay, my favorite. It was more in the beginning when it first started. I was very really looking forward to it. Flash TV show, yes, all right, it's gonna be awesome. Saw the first season. I was like, okay, awesome. Enjoyed it. Oh, he got ripped apart, or not ripped apart, but he got beat apart and whatever. And then it just started going he wasn't going straight anymore. It was going this way. I didn't really get it. I didn't get where it was at, Crisis, and then
this was very Man of Steel for me. It started off with so much hope,
yes,
and so much fun, and so much excitement. And I wish they had kept that momentum. But I do like Grant Gustin's Flash.
I do too.
He should have been Flash in the movies.
Horrible graphics.
I think so.
The plot was everywhere, like his costume. What is that even on his head? You know what? Whatever. Go ahead.
I think it was leather or Playtex. Which one is it? I forget what it was, but it was a hood. He did have a hood, and it conformed to his face. I don't know.
Oh my goodness! I'm glad I didn't watch it. Anyway,
Uh,
of
now
course,
let me pick this.
of course.
I picked this because again, I was hopeful in between the first and second seasons, and then it just started becoming a trend of the flashbacks, and then the
Get off the
broodiness,
goddamn island.
and getting off the island. Like he hasn't gotten off of the island yet, and then it's just he goes back, and then he gets off, and then get back.
He's like the poor man's Batman, but he's
The
rich.
fish are gonna. Well, I believe that this is supposed to be a universe,
Right.
In which,
Right.
in which that he is kind of the Batman. So that makes sense.
And they had a crossover with the Flash TV show, of course. If
Mhm.
everybody's seen it, and
I like their Flash. I like their What was it?
Their
Their
crossover
crisis.
event?
Yeah, the crisis event.
Their
crossover.
crisis. Bleh. Thank you, guys.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Their crisis
yeah.
crossover event.
That was pretty nifty. I did enjoy that. Again, that went. It's almost, to me personally, I felt like some of the stories eventually they've already said, or the villains they already fought. Then they had to get into the actual characters as far as telling, like, oh, so and so is interested with this one. Oh, so and so needs helping again. And then it just kind of had the same formula after a while, and it kind of dropped off just because it was.
Yeah, it became too CWE.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's
Yes.
a thing.
It is a thing.
That's
And
a
then it's like, oh, on CW, I'm like,
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm happy.
maybe
That's
maybe
ours.
No.
No. And I think that was my last pick for the evening, just so I wanted to see Mayhem's face look a little cringy there. So I was successful.
Like we all have we have social media apps where you can literally watch movies and streams and series of better quality, and you chose this. This is trash. Okay, I would have chose Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek, just the theme song.
Okay.
For our lives.
Or even
let the man choose.
I let him choose. I just
his shows.
Yes.
Let him choose.
That is a point you did say, though. That is true.
All right. Kat is next, obviously.
And again, Reggie's leading.
It wasn't your image, though.
This is my number one pick.
Nice.
Kat, I'm just letting you know. I agree. That's it.
Oh,
Wow.
He agrees with somebody finally.
Wow, that's
very rarely do you
great.
find perfection.
Yes.
And this show, I sincerely hope that everyone that watches this loves it. But if they don't, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay.
Right. You're weird.
Not everybody can be right all the time. But this is the strongest. And this is what happens when you have a fully fleshed out vision from beginning to end.
Yes.
And you put the right people in the right places. This was beautifully casted, beautifully done. The twist, which I'm not going to mention, but if you've watched the show, you know what the twist is, the way that it worked out, and even with how time works for one of the characters, where you're never 100% sure where we are in this story, in the timeline, just kept you invested and invigorated. And I hate that we only get one season, but I love that we only get one season because it's perfect, and I wouldn't even know where they could go from here. So that's it. Watchmen, beautifully done, beautifully casted. She's fucking amazing in it, but she's amazing in everything that she's in. But yeah, that's my number one. My number two. And I've lost Mayhem.
And he's out.
He's been narcolepsy lately. I think he's got to get that.
I know. Just falling asleep with the mic lately.
When this show was announced and then the first pictures dropped, people lost their ever loving mother effing minds.
They were bad, bruh.
They were bad. They were bad. But this is, when you're doing superhero things and Cape Crusader things, there's always this should we walk this fine line to make sure that we get as much audience as we possible, that it's appropriate for all ages, to better our chances for marketing and for for syndication and whatnot. Well, HBO Max and DC and Warner Brothers or whoever said, "Fuck that noise. Let's make an R-rated Titans TV show," and it works. And it works on that level. Now, is this the greatest television of all time? No. Is it the greatest version of Titans in live action form that I've ever seen? Absolutely. And I like the characters. I like the casting. I like Wonder Girl. I like their relationship and how they're kind of done with each other, but they're keep on getting pulled into each other because they've been raised to be these people. And even the casting with Batman and some of the other fringe characters that are kind of callbacks to the original Justice League, I think are really strong. So I put this as my second, and you're going to be disappointed for the rest of this. So I'm glad I started out strong, Mayhem. But let's move on to number 3, unless somebody has something to say to Titans.
No, I've not watched it because the first set pictures I was just not down.
Give it a minute. Give it just the first set pictures are misleading.
Yeah, give it a whole 3
They're
seasons.
they're misleading.
Yeah, give it a whole 3 seasons. They'll pick up.
I thought it was pretty strong that first season and the second season. I haven't finished the third season, but that's just because I haven't been watching TV.
Yeah, I'm just joking. I'm pulling your leg. Okay.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm just no, he ain't.
I
I think he's about to leave.
I don't even know what you have to say about this. This show is hilarious. It is fun. It is beautifully cast. I care about these characters and I want to know what goes for them next. Now, you cannot tell me that orgy episode wasn't freaking hilarious. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that.
It was hilarious. But
Thank you.
But this series is missing a je ne sais quoi. Something. It's like it doesn't.
I don't disagree with you there, but I still think it's very strong on its own.
Okay.
I don't disagree with you there. I think that they are struggling with finding that one theme that should run through the entire series. And it feels like they're still a little bit floundering that part, but every episode is fun. It's well written, it's well directed, it's well shot, and it's well acted. And Brendan Fraser.
You're right.
Brendan Fraser.
Next.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Mayhem.
I don't have anything really to say that hasn't already been said, so I'm just going to leave it at yes. I also chose Lucifer as my number 4. Only because when it was stopping and then starting, then stopping, it kind of faltered a little bit. Yeah. But I think it finished off really strong. It was one of those things where it thought it was ending, and then they got more time, so they had to kind of like, oh, it's over. Wait a minute, it's not really over. And when that happens, you kind of stumble a little bit. So it got a little bit weak, but then it finished off strong. So
okay,
moving on.
Something.
I think that maybe I should have had this further up the list, but in my like trying to put the 2 more shows and then redo the sequence, this ended up at number 5. The production value on this alone, it looked amazing, especially for a TV show that was on the DC app. Like this was not.
This was on the Seed.
When DC had its own app.
Right.
Oh.
You guys forget when Titans and Doom Patrol.
That was all for the DC
app, right?
And this show was scary and spooky and science-y and I say fun, but I'm not in a haha way, but just like, oh, this is going to be a wild ride. But it really leaned into like the horror aspect of it, and I loved it. I wish we had gotten more of it, and I understand that it was very expensive to make because it really did look great. Right. He looks great.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen more of that. I still kind of hold out hope that with HBO money, it might come back with the original cast because it was beautifully casted as well, I thought. But if you're into horror, if you're into Swamp Thing, definitely it's only 1 season, but it's a great season.
Yes.
I just have one question.
My top 5. Yes.
How does it compare to the original Swamp Thing TV series from the USA Network?
It's not campy. It's not campy.
Okay.
This is not campy. So they're taking it more seriously here.
Let me say like this. I feel like if we had like another 10% of the world's population that watched it, we would have a movement kind of like a Zack Snyder released the Snyder cut to make
Yeah.
another season because this was amazing.
This wasn't amazing. And like I said, this should have been moved up further.
But yeah,
But in my jumble of getting things in, it kind of got shunted to number 5. But I think this would be my number 2 pick over the other ones.
fair enough.
But it was a very, very strong show. I can't recommend it enough. And too many people have not seen it. And that's where the problem was. They spent a lot of money and not a lot of people were using that DC app. So
Right.
it suffered
Did
for
you
that.
happen to read that Hulk series where it was a darker version of it, or at least a horror version of the Hulk?
Oh, the
And-
Maestro.
Yeah,
No,
I think it was.
Was it the Maestro or was
Yeah.
it the
Or was it Future Hulk? Is it the
No.
one where his kids were eating people, or the one where he took over the world and was ruling it?
No, I want to say it was something recent.
It's where he put somebody who was kind of like he wasn't part of a crime, but he watched it happen, so he's technically associated, and he put him in a body cast coma. I think it's
Yeah.
Immortal Hulk, which leads to
Yeah.
which leads to Heart of the Monster. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's it. So I want to say, does it kind of run along the lines of that kind of aspect as far as the dark
Yeah.
version of?
Yeah, it does. You
Okay.
watch it, and I think it'll, like within the first 2 episodes, it'll draw you in because it's so much going on that's amazing, but like horrifying you at the same time.
Nice.
And it's so many
Okay.
different things. It's not just like, oh, jump scares. It's like, well, this is how it is. Normally we know, and then there's so many other things at play.
Got you. Shoot, I'm gonna jump on that if they still got it. I'm gonna watch it.
Kat, great list. I agree with your first one and your last, possibly second. I think those are really dope. DC app, I really hope they sell it and they sell the rights to HBO because they're not gonna do anything half near that HBO can do, especially with I think Doom Patrol because, like Kat said, Doom Patrol is great. It's like the battle who can hit a home runs, but for some reason he can't follow a pitch. And all you need him to do is connect, and you know it's going to be amazing. But, aside from that, the picks were pretty good.
It's all there. They just
Yeah.
need to, I don't know,
Yeah, something.
find that one thing. But I'm going to keep watching because I love everything else anyway. It's kind of chaotic, but I'm here for that.
Sounds about DC.
All right, are you ready to get roasted, sir? I mean,
Yes, I am.
I'm ready to roast you.
Aw,
All right.
Not
let's-
really though.
I'm a chili pepper.
let's be super friends.
We are super. That's why we can roast each other.
Let's do it. My top 5. First of all,
Oh,
Regina King. I understand that right now you're probably still healing, but you beautiful human being, you beautiful human being.
Mhm. Blessed.
I think in this role she could have easily outshone Jeremy Irons, who is playing the Ozymandias.
oh, nice.
But it's not an easy task because when they revealed that we were even getting Oz and his little speeches and his speech was amazing. It was beautiful. Once again, I kind of came into this a little bit ignorant as far as the premise goes. This all takes place after the events of Watchmen.
Okay.
And which is interesting because they have the Button series with DC and the Watchmen crossover, so I don't know where that takes place at. But anyway, this was amazing, and the twist at the end, I fully believe.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say I believe. It was just so how it came together. Oh my god, it was beautiful. This was by far DC's best, number one best live series ever to this day. We've had a lot with Impact. We have a lot of personal favorites, but hitting all the boxes, boom, 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 boom. And it was political enough that way you can ingest it and be like, you know what? Such and such has a point. I like it. Ah, man, it was amazing. I want to go on because we're running out of time, and I do apologize. But if you haven't seen it, watch it. Obviously, the OG Batman the Animated Series. At this point in my list, I have maybe one other live adaptation. And there's a reason, because for me, they were all trash. Batman, the animated series, we got, Mask of the Phantasm. We got so many other things to a point where they mix the Superman series with the Batman series. They had a 90-minute special. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously the drawings took different because Batman. This was so amazing. So many dark tones. So many classic lines. So many classic moments. There's one with the Joker where he's like, it's so dark. you'd almost cry if it wasn't so dark. He's like, I cry anyway, and he laughs. And Mark Hamill does that iconic laugh. It's amazing. So if you haven't watched it, sit back, grab some popcorn, and be prepared to be blown away because this was what in the '90s, and they made
Oh
such a
yeah.
part like this. It won so many awards. Let's go to the next one. Young Justice. I'm sorry for the picture. Young Justice is on season 4 right now. And I think they just finished it up. When I tell you this was the haymaker that caught everybody by surprise, it's like so many interpersonal growth with characters and heroes not trying to be like their counterparts, their mentors, and also teens trying to have their own lives, and it's just great story altogether. It's so good that you just like you salivate, but it wasn't as best as the other ones. We're gonna move on because another one, Haymaker. Oh my God, Peacemaker. And look, Cat, look, an actual good picture. So for me, Peacemaker, I thought was gonna be campy. I thought it was gonna be but it works so much. It's so funny. It's comedic. It is so many character growth, and it's just like whenever things go sideways and there's some gore and blood, it's just like, you know what? I loved it, and it makes you a little bad inside. Yes, it does. So kudos to Mr. Cena. Kudos to everybody in the cast. Amanda Waller, Viola. Oh my God, just Viola, just amazing. Next, and of course, last but not least, Justice League. I don't know why it went big and small, but whatever, Reggie. You set me up. I feel like I feel like I feel like I gave you big pictures. You purposely made them small, and then you're laughing about it. You know, whatever. Justice League
Michael
was
Machines.
not only the Michael Machines,
Iconic.
iconic
It's
series,
French. Leave him alone.
iconic um series that everybody was kind of listing when it comes to movies, but also it had great actual themes, great script, great acting, great animation. Although Superman drawn like that weird, I don't even know, is that a rhombus with the
Yeah,
five? Like,
he's rhomboid. He's rhomboid shaped in
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
it's weird, but you know what? By the time we got to the second to last episode, if I'm not mistaken, where like Shiara, Hawk Girl like betrays everybody. You find that out, and the growth from that, you're already sucked in. And then they had the nerve to make Justice Unlimited after that, the second season, and then try that off into Batman Beyond. This was just amazing. And you know what? I think when we were watching Justice League the movie, we were kind of hoping to get this original cast
I think so.
in it. You know, we were still waiting for Green Lantern, even though they kind of
Mhm.
showed a Green Lantern in the preview with the glass or whatever, but it wasn't Green Lantern, it was John Jones. And we were waiting for Hawk Girl in Flash, so it was just, well, we got Flash, but it was just amazing. These were my top 5 picks. Um, what are your top 5 picks? Obviously, if you stayed here and you watched this whole show and you're probably like yelling at us, like, no, that's not true, whatever. Let us know in the comments and all this other stuff. I'm gonna say my list definitely, obviously, is a 9. It's not perfect, but you know what? Considering how everybody else made it so easy for me to be on a number 9,
Oh
you know,
my God!
I want to take my trophy. You know what? Hold on.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I want
Don't
to
you
thank
dare!
everybody for making this possible. My mom,
Wow.
You
my
still ain't took it
dad,
out the bag, man.
my eyes, my
We did not
brain.
buy that for you, so you don't take it out the bag.
First of all, as you know, I'm black, and we keep everything in plastic. You're lucky I don't got my couch in plastic. Okay, love you. Anyway, this is just really quickly run down the list. Reggie, what do you think about the list, real quick?
All right, everyone had good lists. I give us all 8s and higher because the lists are personal, but they did have good shows on them. Even though somebody didn't agree with the vast majority of the things we listed.
Man, what's
Shout out to that person for having standards.
Ooh, man, standards. You better be glad. Ooh, okay. Standards. Yes, no. Yeah, we all get 8s or above because there were some good shows. Granted, some did start strong and then end weak, but still, they were still good shows. They still came with the entertainment. They were still nice. So I enjoyed that. The movies were all over. I enjoyed the fact that we had covered the range of movies that DC has put out and not just the new stuff. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. So yeah, all of our lists, they're all top tier lists. I don't care what no one says. They're all top tier.
Cat.
I'm going to follow what Reggie said. Reggie's 100% correct. Although I may not agree with what everyone's list had in their specific orders, each of those shows meant something special to the person that brought them to the table. And for that, I can't hate on that. Any love for DC is a win for me. And as Diana is expressing on my shirt, love is love, baby.
Love is
Let's
love.
not be haters. Life is too short for that.
Okay. Ness, your turn.
So all I could say is I'm here to enjoy anything geekish, and I'll definitely opinionate
So
on some of
anyway,
the.
let's talk about it.
Well, you know,
it
this kind of
comes
goes
to-
in that way. I really enjoy it. Thank you. Yep, that was my
Yeah.
segment. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. The
um,
poor man alone.
go ahead, Ness. I'm sorry.
You came to fight with yourself.
We all love movies. That's what we're here for, and we're here to express it for everybody to see. So
That's
if you
right.
do have your opinion of everything, sure, bring it on. That's where the conversation happens, and that's how we get together when this show about it. That's what it's all about.
Agreed. Listen, what I loved about our list is, for the most part, even though it included, capes and boots, we also went into like other movies such as Peacemaker, anti heroes and vigilantes. We also went to certain movies where I said movies for that's a series. We also went to movies like V for Vendetta, which doesn't necessarily have a hero in the case.
No,
Red, technically they're mercenaries. There's no hero. Whoever
Right.
pays for the buck, so it shows that DC literally can do great things if they put their mind to it and have great series. There's plenty of other great animated and live adaptations for both series and movies. Unfortunately, they didn't make the list. For me personally, they weren't the top tier, but they were still pretty good. So just because they didn't make top tier doesn't mean they weren't good and worth you actually checking out. And with that being said, I'm gonna close this off because my manager's looking at me like, "Bruh, what are you doing?" I got you, fam. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Full Letter Nerd, hosted by HeiroGeekics Unlimited. That's right, we transferred over. With me today, we had my friend Reggie. Reggie, say hi.
Hello.
We had Ness,
Hello.
and we had Kat, who disagreed with me heavily, but it's okay.
I didn't though.
We
Just your hateration.
no holleration in this dancery.
Correct.
We are the Four Letter Nerd. We are here every Wednesdays. I'm not even gonna give a time because it changes for certain people. But at this time, 8 p.m. Eastern. What was it 6 p.m. Central?
Mountain. We in the mountains, bruh.
You know what?
The montañas.
I pray for you guys because I'm not coming to save you. You know what I'm saying?
Save me from what? Save me from what?
Mountain avalanches.
Technology. Anyway, this has been your boy Mayhem Mike. Until next time.
Okay.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I realized I have to hit the end broadcast button.
Yeah, you gotta
never
hit
really
the end
do it
button, isn't it?